Hi everyone and welcome to Creative Cakes by Sharon. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this chocolate Easter bunny cake. This is a cute and simple little Easter bunny cake that you can prepare as a gift for someone special at Easter, or even use him as your centerpiece for your Easter celebrations. So let's get started. I have here one of my 8-inch super moist round chocolate cakes. I'll leave a link to this recipe in the description box below. And the first thing I need to do is divide my cake into two. Now I've got here 2 cookie cutters, a large one and a small one. And what I need to do is cut out 4 large round circles as well as 2 smaller ones. Using some buttercream frosting, I'm going to start stacking my cakes. I'm going to use 3 of the largest circles for the body, and then the 2 smaller ones plus the 4th large circle for the head. Using a nice sharp knife, I'm going to round off the edges of the top cake on the body section. And then I'm going to make 2 diagonal cuts at the front of the cake. Using the excess cake that was left over after the circles were cut out, I'm just going to pop it up against my cake and cut out 2 small feet. I'm going to start rounding off the top edge of the head section for the Easter bunny. Now with the little shavings that I take off, I'm actually going to stick them back onto the cake at the bottom, just popping them onto the buttercream frosting. I just want to fill this region of the cake out a little bit. I also need to remove the back section of the larger circle of cake because this is the back of the Easter bunny's head and it needs to be a little bit flat. And I also need to cut a little triangle wedge out of the front sections of the cake. This is the snout, or where the whiskers are on the Easter bunny, so I just want to round it off a little bit. Using some chocolate ganache, I'm going to cover the head section of my cake, but as I do, I've got a few pieces of offcuts here which I'm going to build up a little bit more onto the snout to give it a bit more of a rounded shape. Once the whole head section has been covered in chocolate ganache, I need to keep it in the fridge for about 15 minutes to set. In this time, I can work on covering the body and the feet of the Easter bunny in some chocolate ganache and also popping it into the fridge after I'm done. Once both pieces of cake come out of the fridge, I'm going to smooth over the ganache using some boiling water to heat up my spatula and glide it over the entire surface of the cake. Now comes the fun part, and that's covering our Easter bunny in some fondant. To help the fondant stick to the cake, I'm just going to brush it with a little bit of water. Drape the fondant over the cake, smooth out all of the edges and cut off the excess. For the bunny's tummy, I've rolled out some white fondant and I'm just going to cut a few divots into the edge just to make it look a little bit more natural, and pop this oval piece of white fondant onto the tummy region. I'm going to use the back of my paintbrush to press gently into the fondant to create a little bit more detail for the feet. Now I'm going to cover the Easter bunny's head with some grey fondant as well, just leaving the front of his nose uncovered because I'm going to cover that with some white fondant. Just stick a rectangular piece of white fondant across the front of the Easter Bunny's face, cut it nicely to shape, and then once again make some little divots along the edge to give it a bit of a fur look. I'm going to assemble my Easter Bunny together now, using a little bit of chocolate ganache as the glue and a wooden skewer to ensure that it's nice and stable. My Easter Bunny still needs some arms and ears, so first I'm going to roll out some nice thick pieces of fondant for his arms and attach them to the body. It just needs to be tapered at the top and nice and round at the other end. And I'll finish off his hands by pressing into the fondant to create some detail for the paws. For the Easter Bunny's ears, I'm going to assemble a strip of pink fondant onto some grey fondant and then cut around to get a nice Easter Bunny ear shape. I've added some tylose powder into this fondant so that it hardens up quickly, and I just need to insert 2 wires into each of the ears. I'm going to pop it aside to dry a little bit while I work on the bunny's face. For the eyes, I'm just going to layer up some of my fondant. This little bunny is going to have blue eyes. Add the mouth and a little pink nose, as well as a nice piece of square fondant at the front for his teeth. At this point I can insert his ears into the cake. They have hardened, however they're still pliable enough for me to mould the ears to the shape of his head. I wanted to add a pretty pink bow to my Easter Bunny. And I can't forget his whiskers, and for that I'm using this nice shiny silver decorative wire. The wire is just for decoration, guys, so remember to remove it before you serve the cake. And of course, what's an Easter Bunny without any Easter eggs? So guys, I hope you enjoyed my chocolate Easter Bunny cake tutorial. He was certainly lots of fun to make, and he'd make a terrific Easter gift for someone. Be sure to let me know if you did like it by giving it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you don't miss any of my weekly tutorials. You can check out last week's tutorial on the screen, and there's also a sneak peek of my next tutorial. I hope you tune in next time. In the meanwhile, have a very happy Easter, and as always, thanks for watching.